Guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this channel is me reacting to multiple countries, content from multiple countries. Recently, I've been for the past few years, I've been reacting to a lot of French music, French comedy, things of that nature. Now I'm about to dive into more broader scope, Europe. So we're about to check out 6 lies America told me about Europe, life in the UK. Let's go. If you're new here, just please drop a comment. Let me know what you want me to react to, and I'm going to react to it. If you have some suggestions, just drop it in the comment section, and I'll check them out. Besides that, let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome back. International Carl doing another video for you. If this is your first time to my channel, please right now stop and hit the like button, consider subscribing, and as always, hit me in the comment section because those that have subscribed to my channel know that I'm always active in the comment section. Now, this video, we're going to talk about a couple lies that the United States pushes into us as Americans growing up. And let's talk about it right now. Let's get to it right now. Lie number 1. This one is a funny one to me because in the United States, it's always, I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're independent, I don't care where you're at on the political spectrum. You're always going to have a politician telling you that
they hate our freedoms, our freedom of religion, our freedom of speech, our freedom to vote and assemble and disagree with each other.
That's right. They hate us for our freedoms. Can you believe that? As if nowhere else in the world has any freedoms. Like Europe. You know, in Europe they act like if you come to Europe, there's just no freedoms. What freedoms do I not have here in Europe? You know, as these are Western democracies with Western values and culture that has been exported to the United States. And it's become its own thing. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but freedoms exist here. I'm still scratching my head. What freedom do you have in America that I don't have here? Let's talk about freedom of speech, for example. In America, you have freedom of speech. In the UK, for example, you don't have freedom of speech. What you do have is freedom of expression. Slight different tweak, but let's give you an example. In America, you can be as racist as you want to somebody. You can walk up to me, walk up to any black person and say the N-word all day long if you want. Where in the UK, you really couldn't do that because at some point you will cross a fine line of inciting racial hatred. So if you define your freedoms based on your ability to call somebody an N-word or call some Asian American some type of offensive word, by all means, you can have that freedom. I don't need that freedom. But other people in America talk about it like freedom for guns. Ooh, guns, guns, guns. They want to take your guns. Well, let's see. Here in the UK, can you have guns? Yes. Can you have a rifle? Yes. Can you have a handgun? Yes. What does the Second Amendment say in the United States? It's highly regulated. So what is it here in the UK? Guess what? It's highly regulated. There's lots of regulations around what type of gun, where you have to store that gun, where you have to keep the ammunition, what do you have to do for the maintenance of that gun? Highly regulated. So you still have the freedom to have a gun. So
yeah, okay, so let's dive in this because I've been in France. Freedom of expression, yes, you can't, but you do not have the, like what he's saying about freedom of speech, you do not have the freedom to just say what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like to come out and disrespect people or harm people with your words. Like in America, you can cuss out the police. In France, you cannot cuss out the police. They call it what they call it in France, outrage, outrage, and that's a no-no. You can't do that. Can you have guns in France? Yes, you can have guns. There's people with guns. Like there's people who hunt, but they're not giving guns to just anybody. That's not going to happen. They're controlling who they give guns to. You have to go through so many things to get a gun. In America, you turn 18, you go to Walmart, buy a shotgun, it's over with. They don't care. In France, it doesn't work like that. That's for sure. So let's keep it going. He's hitting on some points. Freedom's like, what freedom in America that, I'm trying to think of a freedom in America that they don't have in France. Like, you can't cuss out the police. You can't just say what you want to say to, like, disrespect people like that. That's a good one, making me think. If you guys know any, let me know in the comment section. But yeah,
if you define your freedoms as being able to have as many guns as you want in America, okay, fine, no argument. But I think that's a lie that they sell, that nobody here has any guns. Not true. Number 2, social housing is a bad thing. It's something that you're supposed to segregate from the rest of the population. So, for example, in America, especially in LA where I'm from, or Southern California where I'm from, social housing, Section 8. Well, that's usually in a separate side of the city, not being seen. I don't even know where it's at, because where I grew up was nothing but beautiful homes, single family homes, no social housing. Where here in the UK, just in Europe in general, it's all sprinkled around you. For example, here in the UK, I live in a beautiful big house, beautiful executive style estate. I have a nice car, but guess what? On this estate and on several new estates, they all have social housing, and they do things that are different in the United States, or that they do here in the UK, that they wouldn't do or they don't do in the United States. You could be on social housing, but guess what? You can partially own that house. So that way you can be on the track. So you can buy 10% of the home, 20% of the home, 50% of the home, and try to get all the way up to 100% of the home like me or you do. So that's a different strategy that they do, so that social housing is good for everybody, because that way the kids get to interact with all people from all social and religious economic backgrounds. And you as an adult get to work and meet and mingle with people from all different backgrounds. I think the neighborhoods are better for it. They're safer for it. Less crime, because guess what? If you're in an executive style estate, well, guess what? You want to keep your home value high. You want to keep it nice and looking new. And that's going to put pressure on the social housing to also keep their house nice, keep the estate looking nice and new and fresh. So,
hold on, let me talk about this. In France, well, yeah, where I live at, the social housing is not mixed in with people in the regular house. But you have some houses around, but you, like, if they're really like sectioned off. Okay, so you got a place like in the city I live in, there's a place called Sanitas. That's a social housing area. Fontaine, that's a social housing area. What is the one name? Enjoy the tour. La Rivière. That's a social housing area. And now in these social housing area, there are apartments around, but it's not like they're not like luxury apartments or things of that nature. They're the social housing area, and there's apartments around that's not social housing, but the social housing is like taking a big part of the neighborhood. You know what I mean? There's apartments around on the outskirts, not on the outskirts, but like here and there. But they're not luxury apartments. But regular people live there. It's not like that. You know, the kids go to school where they go to school. But in Denver, like he's talking about the Section 8, there's Section 8 housing. You know, you have the residents, the places where, you know, you got the apartment buildings that's designated for that. And you know who, you know, you got like a very urban population. But you also have owners of homeowners that would like to rent their houses. They can register with Section 8 to rent their homes. And their homes can be located anywhere. So you have people on Section 8 social housing that can live in a nice home, or live in a nice home in a nice neighborhood, or in a certain neighborhood, or a middle class neighborhood. It depends on where that homeowner, if the homeowner in that area registers with Section 8. But one downside about it is that a lot of homeowners do not like to register with Section 8 because usually the people on Section 8 do not take very good care of their home. I'm going to be real. They have kids, young kids, and things get broken a lot. We're gonna keep it real, man. We're gonna keep it real. And so a lot of people do not register with Section 8 because they don't want the tearing up of their home. You know what I mean? So that's one part that he has a point on that, but well, I don't know about the UK, but I'm talking about France. But certain social areas are not mixed in with nice areas. Okay.
I think that's a myth. I think that's something that should be revisited in the United States. Number 3, in America, they teach you this, that somehow being a hard worker means coming in early, staying late, never taking a vacation, and definitely don't call in sick. That is like the biggest mistake you could ever make, faux pas you can make. I'll give you an example. When I was working for a large airframe manufacturer in the United States, I remember a friend of mine, we wanted to take 2 weeks off and go do something. Our managers looked at us like we were crazy because we wanted to have the audacity to take 2 weeks off. And mind you, we didn't take any days off prior to that. We just wanted to take 2 weeks off in a year so we could go do something. They were like, no, rejected, slim that down to a week. And I'm thinking, isn't that my time off to relax, to recharge my battery so I can come back to work? No. Now, I think minds and hearts have changed a little bit in the United States back from when I started working, back in the early 2000s, or mid-2000s, I should say. But that was a faux pas. Well, here in the United Kingdom and here in Europe, for example, it's encouraged to take time off. You get 20, 25 plus days off in mostly all European countries. I think by law in the European Union, you have to have 20 days off. So it's encouraged to take time off because either you use it or you lose it. And for example, I think Sweden, if I can find the article, it's on the screen now. But if not, Sweden is actually doing a trial where they're reducing the work hours to 6 hours to see if it increases productivity. Because
let me jump back on this right here, what he's talking about. So in France, that's what I have experience with. You get 5 weeks per year off. 5 weeks. So, and that's encouraged. Like everybody has, you have 5 weeks you can get off per year. And America, yeah, no. I remember I told my friends in America about that. They're like, "What? 5 weeks, bro? Yeah, right." Because in America, you would have to, if you're on permanent on a job, you have to try to swindle your way to get about a month off. You get like, I think you get 2 weeks paid vacation, and then you get PTO, paid time off for if you're sick. You get sick days. You get it's another one. What's the one called when you have family emergency? FPTO or something, family paid time off or something like this. And then all that adds up to about 5 weeks. But you will have to use, sick days and this and that and that and this to get it up. But in Europe, you start working, you're gonna have 5 weeks off in that year. So that's right what he's saying. And they're not working and it's not 40 hours a week, it's 35 hours a week. There's a full-time job in here.
Employees, employers are seeing that the employees are more rested and more focused when they come back to work. Number 4, America sells you this, that capitalism and consumerism go hand in glove. It's like this cycle. You have to work to buy, to work again to pay for what you buy, to buy some more stuff, to then work again and go down this continuous loop of working to live. And in Europe, one of the things that I find I think is a beauty and a benefit of working and living in Europe is that there's more of a work-life balance. As I just talked about in point number 3, is that you have time off to actually do stuff. And you don't just have this endless working to consume. Don't get me wrong. We go on vacation, so we're consuming what I would call We are consuming experiences, but we are not. We don't live to work. We work to live. And that is a benefit of living in Europe, and I think that is great. And I think the U.S. sells a lie to its people by telling them that you have to work hard to then buy stuff and never do anything. Number 5, which kind of ties into the first one I said, but it really is on the Republican right side in America. They always preach, especially during the Obamacare era, 2012, was all about these death panels. They literally produced a video where they were throwing grandma off a cliff because of social medicine.
Make no mistake about it. President Obama and the Democrats who supported Obamacare began throwing seniors off the cliff back.
The evils of social medicine that you
Hold
have
on.
to have.
Hold on. What began throwing senior citizens off the cliff? What the hell?
Obama and the Democrats who supported Obamacare began throwing seniors off the cliff back.
The evils of social medicine that you were going to have death panels if you got sick. I mean, how ridiculous of a lie that is. I mean, it's a bold-faced lie. I've lived here 11, 12 years. I have yet to ever see a death panel. I have known some older people. I know some younger people. I know myself. You can walk into any hospital in any country in Europe and there's not a single death penalty. What do you expect them to say? Oh, sorry, you had a heart attack last year, Mr. Carl, but since you had one last year, we're not going to treat you for this heart attack because the panel has refused your care. On a side note, you kind of already have that in America. You just have it through the insurance companies because guess what they do? Decide not to cover you. They say, it's a pre-existing condition. I don't think you can do that anymore, but they'll say that, or they'll find a way to deny coverage. They'll make it so high to cost to do it that you have to do it out of pocket. And guess what? Now you're bankrupt. So that loops right back to number 1. How are you free if you have to live with the pressure of going bankrupt and not being able to pay your bills? Because guess what? You had the audacity to break your hip, get sick. I don't know. You pick it. So those are the 5 things that I think that the United States lies or misleads its people on purpose to further whatever big business or whatever political agenda that they have to the people.
Yeah, it's really a every man for himself type of mentality in America. Like, we look out for each other to a certain extent, but when it gets down to the nitty gritty, like, it's every man for himself, and that's not cool. In Europe, schooling is free, healthcare is free. Man, you're getting paid time off every year, 5 weeks, 35 hours a week you're working. You're not really out killing yourself doing all this, and beating up your body, and then not enjoying the fruits of your labor. Like in America, you could be working, and you're having the most fun. You look up, you're already at retirement, and now you're trying to go, but you've been working so hard in certain jobs that, man, you got arthritis, you have to go get surgery, so you might not enjoy your retirement like you're supposed to. And you didn't take the time off when you were working because you're trying to pay for this house, you're trying to pay for this car, you're trying to pay for school, you're trying to pay for the doctor bills, daycare, all of this stuff. Even with daycare, the state help in France. The state helps you with daycare. Like, things are like, the prices in America for certain stuff is just ridiculous. I'm sorry, got to be real. Like $400 a week for daycare, or man, I don't know how much it is now, but I think when I was there, it was like 400, or might be $400 a month or something like this. Maybe. I think it was more than that. I think it was like $50 a day. It was about I gotta see. Y'all let me know in the comment section. If it's any Americans, let me know how much daycare is right now in America. But yeah, this dude's telling me it's the truth. But it's not no lies about Europe, so I don't. 6 lies America told me about Europe. One, what that they hate us for our freedoms. Maybe that was a lie, but the other stuff wasn't. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to leave you with a bonus one, which is kind of strange if you look at it. Because number 6 is this. In America, every day, all students around the nation get up every morning and say the Pledge of Allegiance. You pledge yourself and align yourself to the United States flag and to the republic for which it stands. Now, that's not something.
Say the whole thing, boy. One nation.
In many Western countries,
under God.
Any other Western country that makes its kids get up every morning. I do know of one back in 1938, 1942-ish time. Those kids used to get up and actually pledge allegiance to their flag and to their.
Was that Germany?
Führer. But I don't know if that's something we should necessarily be doing. Don't get me wrong, I love my country. I'm very patriotic about it. I love the 4th of July for all my country is never perfect, but I think it can get better. But that's mine. Hit me in the comments. Tell me what you think. And like always, click here to subscribe to the channel and click right here, right there to watch another one of my videos.
I'm going to say this. This video probably should have been named 6 differences between living in America and living in Europe. Instead of 6 lies America told me about Europe, because he didn't say anything else besides that they hate us for our freedoms. The other stuff wasn't the things that America told us about Europe. So like 6 differences. I agree. All facts. Because America didn't tell us that social housing was all this. No. He didn't say that, man. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the video. And I'm here for the next one.